How it started versus how it's going. The day is finally here. Netflix just shared their first look and teaser trailer and a release date for their live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series. Guys, it's been nearly 5 years since this show was announced back in 2018, so today is a huge day for the Avatar franchise. I'm gonna break everything down. Today was Netflix's Tudum event, and they unveiled their biggest upcoming shows, including Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is the first official look that we've ever gotten from Netflix, and a few big things happened. The first of which was this teaser trailer that revealed for the first time ever the official logo of this series. The teaser also flashes between the different symbols of the Four Nations, giving us our first glimpse at what the VFX might look like for the show. I think the way the teaser is rapidly cycling through all the elements going in order from water, earth, fire, air is super hype, and it's just building up suspense for when they eventually reveal the logo. And I love the way this logo looks, especially how they included both new and old elements, like how the word Avatar is the same typeface as in the original show, because by the way, that's not a font at all. It was actually hand painted by one of the original show's animators. But then the Last Airbender part, that is brand new, and I love the way this arrow goes between the R and the B, and just like the texture of it. You could almost feel the fabric on this flag. So that's super dope. And then the trailer ends by showing the release date. It just says 2024, which isn't the most helpful because that is a full year and it's still 6 months away, but I think I can narrow that down just a little bit. Netflix also announced an adaptation of the Three Body Problem and gave that show a January 2024 release date. Netflix typically doesn't like overlapping their biggest shows, and both Avatar and Three Body Problem are as big as it gets, so I would give Avatar a spring release date right after the Three Body hype ends. Avatar though has been in post-production for a very long time. They finished filming almost exactly 1 year ago in June of 2022, so after a year and a half of VFX work and post-production, it better look super amazing, and I think it honestly will, because next, Netflix gave us our first look at Team Avatar in their official costumes. We see Aang, played by Gordon Cormier, Katara, played by Gowan Dio, Sokka, played by Ian Owsley, and Zuko is played by Dallas Liu. And they all look super amazing, almost exactly like in the cartoon actually, which just confirms what we've suspected for months now after looking at all those leaks. But let's dive in. First, I want to look at Aang's arrow, which is unique from the cartoon. I like how from a distance, it is just unapologetically bright blue. But when you zoom in, you can see that even more detail went into making this thing. The base of the arrow is bright blue, but then there's a bunch of darker, more intricate details and patterns that make up the arrow. There seems to be writing along the entire perimeter of the arrow. I don't know what language it is, probably Chinese like all the writing in the original show, or maybe a Tibetan language to pay homage to that real life inspiration. I think one of the coolest opportunities for this arrow design might be when Aang goes into the Avatar state. Like imagine when he goes into the Avatar state, just the darker patterns part of the arrow glow. I think that could look very cool and very unique and different from the cartoon. I think Aang's staff even looks very accurate to the cartoon. I don't know where the wings are, they'll just probably be completely CGI, but yeah, Aang just looks super good. He looks like the cartoon literally brought to life, which is what they've been saying since the beginning, but seeing it in this actual first look is incredible. They show us Gowan Dio as Katara next, and even tease what the bending might look like with that little splash of water at the top of the screen. I think Katara's look might be my favorite of the bunch. She has everything, the hair loopies, the bright blue colors, the like polar bear fur. She looks really great. And it's not pronounced Keowin Tio, by the way, it's Gowan Dio. If you're watching a video and someone says Keowin Tio, then just click away because they don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, I love the bright colors. I don't like it when live action adaptations try to make everything look dull because it's more realistic or whatever. Like, I want to see some color. Like, real life has bright colors, this can have bright colors too. So yeah, I think she looks really good. And then for Sokka, I think he looks very good, even though this is clearly not what he's going to be wearing throughout the entire show. Like, this picture is from a battle scene. He's clearly wearing armor with some chainmail patterns. He has like nice big shoulder pads, and he has his boomerang. I think it looks very good. I like how blue even the boomerang is. Once again, being very accurate to the cartoon. Another thing that stood out to me was the structure that Sokka's defending. If you look closely, you can see that it's not made out of wood. It's made out of bone. I think whale bone, which I think is pretty in line with how the show wants to represent these cultures as if they really existed in real life. Like, I know for some indigenous cultures, using every part of a hunted animal is super important. So in this case, the Water Tribe members probably killed this giant whale, ate all the meat, and then used its bones for their actual houses, which just goes to show how much thought and consideration is being put into this live action set design. Details like this are even more meticulous than what was shown in the original cartoon, so Netflix is not holding anything back for this series. Before moving on to Zuko, there is one more thing that I noticed about Sokka and Katara actually that I think will be pretty controversial, and that's their eye color. As you can see, both actors have their natural brown eye color, and neither of them have the bright blue eyes that are usually characteristic of waterbenders in the cartoon. Eye color is one of the more defining features in Avatar, so I get why people wouldn't like this change, but I'm personally on board, especially for a show like this that is trying to make a point to showcase the natural beauty of different cultures. Just think about it. Not many indigenous people have natural blue eyes. That's more of a European trait. So letting these actors keep their beautiful brown eyes is a pretty understandable change to make. And then the final character they showed us was is Dallas Liu's Zuko. And this might be my least favorite, not because of how the character looks, because I think Zuko looks pretty good, but because that helmet is covering up the most interesting parts of his character. I know they made Dallas Liu wear a bald cap, so Zuko definitely has that really weird bald ponytail thing that he had in season 1, and I'm so curious just how ugly that is in live action. And then also his scar, like I feel like the helmet hides up the biggest part of his scar. In the cartoon, the scar goes all the way back to Zuko's ear, but the helmet is basically covering up the main parts of it here. I know people were wondering just how grotesque they might go with this scar, but I think they would kind of tame, honestly, because to me at least, it looks more like a bruise and less like a horrifying burn mark. If you zoom in, you can still see that he has an eyebrow, and he can still open his eye all the way up. So for me at least, I wish the scar was a little bit bigger, but once again, we can't see like the full scope of it with the helmet in the way. But the rest of Zuko still looks pretty good. I love how practical this armor is, definitely getting some samurai vibes, but with splashes of Fire Nation designs sprinkled throughout. This is probably a shot taken when Zuko first meets the gang, like probably when he first sees that Aang is indeed the Avatar at the Southern Water Tribe. So it'll be very interesting to see what these costumes look like when everyone's actually in motion, flipping around and fighting each other and stuff. All the cast members also were on stage and they shared how hyped they were about the show, and they're just all oozing with their characters' energy. These are real fans, guys, and I'm so excited to see them on the big screen. And that's everything that was officially shared today. But we know so much more about this show, and this video breaks down the full Avatar cast, including Daniel Dae Kim, aka Firelord Ozai, aka Dr. Han. And then this video breaks down several leaks, including the Avatar live action's massive production. Watch both videos to catch up, and then be sure to subscribe because Avatar is finally here and you don't want to miss anything.